attached to me back then. And yesterday, God led me to remove certain people from my phone, not block them. He goes, don't block them. They're not going to come. They're not going to reach out to you. I'm like, okay. So I deleted them out of my phone. And he goes, okay. And this is when the clarity started hitting. At this point in my life, right now, where I am, and he's been highlighting my fingernails, he's been highlighting my hair, he's been highlighting my toenails. Give me a second. he so he he's even highlighted this. Clarity. And he brought to me the scripture, you will know them by their fruits. Not to say that women that go to get their nails done aren't fruitful. Okay? But this is how God is showing me my fruit. Okay? My nails have not grown in years. They had become brittle. They were breaking off easily. When I was working in the restaurant, the pizza restaurant, with my husband, I was washing dishes. My nails were falling apart. Since I've been home, since I have been away from everything, my hair has started to settle down because it was acting out. I'm sure some of you saw me always messing with my hair. And it was because it was like it was responding to the things around me. And so now I had, and this was something the woman that raised me would say to me, "Oh my God, are you getting bald?" And I'm like, "No." And my hair has started to grow. Like these hairs right here, they're not as long as the rest of my hair because they just recently started to grow and they're catching up. I mean, look at this. When they first started to grow, they were like right here. They're now they're a little bit longer than my face. Some of them are at my face. But they're going to be the length of my hair. I haven't cut my hair. God hasn't led me to cut my hair at all in the last 4 years, 5 years. No, I did cut it when I first started working at the pizza restaurant. So a year and a half ago. That was the last time he allowed me to cut my hair. He hasn't allowed me to cut my hair since. And this is all to show me my fruit, to show me that I'm beginning to show fruit. I'm beginning to blossom. I'm beginning to open up. I'm beginning to be the person that he created me to be. And so I couldn't have started any of this before because I was still surrounded by people who were speaking death into me, who were speaking evil over me, and this is when God said, I've closed those doors. You're no longer going to be dealing with people who are going to speak death into you, who are going to talk down to you, who are going to not allow you to be fruitful, who are not going to support you, who are not going to elevate you, who are not going to increase you. This is why I can't go back and work for anyone else. But I am not going to work, or I am not going to have a ministry the way he has had others have ministries. Mine is going to be different. Mine is going to be showing what it looks like to be a child of God working in the trenches, working in the field. That's why I said my life is prophetic. My life is, I'm a living testimony. God is leading me differently than He's leading His prophets. His prophets speak encouragement. They speak instruction. They speak clarification, confirmation. They speak elevation. They speak according to the way that God leads them to. And then God will lead you to the prophets who have the words that He is telling, that He is giving you in your heart, in your mind, the visions that He gives you in your dreams, the path that He is showing you. He does this, but then He gives you these people to provide you context, to provide you constructive information. Now, when He has children who are still in the world, He has to lead them out, but He has to have and He just, oh my gosh, sorry guys, I'm just, okay. He has to have a channel, a way for His message to be conveyed, because God is the conduit. He is the now this is back, the word He gave me back on 4:1. Remember? Or on 4:2, I'm sorry. I made a video when He gave me this word. And this is what I wrote out. I did not talk about this because He had not led me to. Now I'm talking about it. Okay? He is the conduit. Okay? We are the channel that the message is conveyed through. He transmutes the appearance and the change in appearance of the message, depending on the vessel that is willing to give the message in the format that He wants, which is why He gave me a date. And I was asking for confirmation. You know, He instructed my husband to show me his date of birth through hand gestures, and that He would provide me with the revelation. Now, in the beginning, because I had just started asking, I had started asking for confirmation, I started asking for, what this means. God goes, guess, what do you think it is? And my first guess was, it was his birthday, which I was half right. But it wasn't the day that I said to him. The second one was something of the world. And then I told that to my husband. And he's like, well, that's how God showed me, like, hold that for later. I was like, what? He's kinky, as am I. Talk to God. Anyway, so then, on a specific date, this was all coming to today. At midnight, He had me send him a text about the date in question. And He gave me confirmation through Tree of Life and through Stephanie P. Smith. Because in that video, God confirmed that He found me not guilty about what I was accused of. My husband accused me of doing something, or of having a behavior that God said, no. That was my doing. My daughter was working according to my will. And so, no, you're not guilty. I find you innocent. But this was confirming that the word that I was about, that the word that He gave me about the date that he had done in his picture was a true date. And so, but I had to wait till midnight to send him that information. It's all coming full circle, I tell you. And because I've been sitting in God's presence, like the woman with the alabaster jar that anointed Jesus, and his disciples were like, why are you allowing her to use this jar like this? Like, we should be able to use this jar to make, to sell it at the market and bring the money for the home, for the poor and the homeless and the widows and what did God say? Leave her alone, because she's doing something good. And whenever I am mentioned, she will be known for what she has done. So God is having me do something that I'm not comfortable with the little bit that I have, and I am trusting him for abundance, because it's when you trust him with the little bit that you have. This is me pouring into myself. Okay. Anyway. And because I am in the alignment with God, sorry. So this is how he broke it down. So God is the conduit, the vessel, the channel, where the message is conveyed. It's transmuted depending on, the form is altered depending on the appearance, depending on the ability to accept the message. So he changes, transmutes the nature to a higher format, meaning when the message or the feeling is impressed on the vessel, that vessel has to communicate the message. But if the message is outside of that vessel's capacity to convey, he has to look for a higher form that is willing to convey the message according to his will, regardless of whether that child is in the world or not. Okay? Because remember, we're all children of God, and it is on his timing that we return to him. And sometimes we're not perfect. Sometimes we're not his other children, his sons and daughters would look at this child and be like, no, you are not a child of God, because you are still talking like the world. We all did. When we first started, we all did. God perfected us in his image as we got closer to him, as we joined him, as we carried our cross, understanding that we're sinners. Yet, children of God are still looking down their noses at the people that God is bringing up. And it's like, my dear, you remember that stick, that sty that was in your eye? How can you look at your brothers and sisters and point theirs out when you had your own? Oh no. And God did bring me confirmation of the dream that I had, that I shared the other day, about two people talking to each other while they were listening to my word. I got confirmation that you are going to receive judgment based on your behavior. May God have mercy on your soul. And I beg you, repent. I pray you repent. Because a child of God, touch not my anointed. You don't know how he's leading me. My life is not for entertainment. It is meant for education, to help you understand that it doesn't always look the way that his prophets have been brought up. This is a child in the field. This is a child in the trenches, being elevated to the next level. And the facial expressions that I have, I can feel God's anger. Like I could really allow myself to just bear down on you, but it's not my place to do so. My job is to show love, to show understanding, to show patience, to show grace, to show mercy. But I leave God the job of judging, the job of punishing. Oh. So, to last night, where so God was showing me by me staying up yesterday till midnight, and I was like, I was laying in bed. I'm like, Father, why am I still awake? Like, why am I still awake? 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 And the first thing he did was bring me to last year, today's date. This morning, that was the first thing he did. And I was like, so God is leading me to do something today. And he confirmed it last year. So he told me, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Be prepared. And he gave me confirmation through Ruth. Now, Bold for Christ, this new young lady that I'm watching her ministry, Diani Neves, Daniela Oyaga, the woman that first God brought me to when I was first starting to heal from being brought out of the life that I was living, and I was feeling raw. This is the first prophet that God brought to me who was gentle and soft, because that's what I needed in that moment. Now I can sit and I can listen to Bold for Christ, and I don't get convicted without being rightfully convicted. So because I was so raw that any word of correction, I took it. And he's like, why are you taking it? You didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, but I... And then that would bring out a crying festival of letting out what I was feeling in that moment. So there was, because he would periodically bring me to Bold for Christ, and the words that she was saying, I would take as conviction, but God would use that to release more of the feelings and the things that I had held in. And probably the first year and a half of me being out of the marriage, away from the people that cared for me when I was young, away from the friends, away from all of that, I did a lot of crying. And I did cry earlier today because I hadn't cried. So, and I'm not afraid to share. So God has been bringing tarot readers, and I've joined subscriptions with certain of them because God has led me to. Other than understanding that there is a child of God somewhere in that group that needs to see my words, that needs to see my path, and some of these people that have attached themselves to that they're not subscribers. They just watch. They are entertaining themselves, and it's a couple of ladies. They actually, and God showed me, they're in their homes with popcorn and chips and their drinks, and they're like, what do you think what do you think she's gonna say this time around? What do you think she's been through? Well, God sees you. I don't need to see you. I don't need to know you. But God sees you. And Daniela Oyaga, Because I was like, Father, I can't remember. I know her mom is Yolanda, and like I couldn't get the name out. And I know it starts with a D. And then God brought her to me. And she says, this is confirmation that there are two women talking about you. They are criticizing you. They are talking down on you. And she said, they don't realize that because of this behavior, because of this thing that they're doing, God is going to judge them accordingly. Touch not my anointed. Don't judge, lest you be judged according to your judgment. And I don't have to tell you what scripture that is. You can look it up. Okay. So, I always wake up with gratitude. And God had this vision of a car. I'm like, why does that car look like it just crashed? And he goes, because that's where your husband is. He's crashing. I'm like, no. So I start praying for him. And he goes, no, but he needs more than that. But I hadn't, like I saw the stepping stones. I'm like, okay. But I was holding on to a word that I don't have to do anything anymore. Because now it's his turn. And I didn't realize until God brought this, because I started to see tarot readers who were talking about my astrology sign, the Cancer. And I'm like, why are you bringing these tarot readers about my astrology sign? And because I won't sit there and watch their words. I won't listen to them. And then God stopped me. And he goes, watch this one. And I'm like, why? And he goes, just watch him. Now, this man is an Armenian. And there is an Armenian song that he's been playing. And when I saw him call himself the funny Armenian friend, I was like, okay. So I sat and I read, because I have the closed caption on, because I don't listen to the words people speak. I read them, and then I let God speak to me. That's how he's been leading me in this season. Okay? I used to sit and listen to the words that people speak, but then God's like, no, I want you to just read, because I want to highlight what I want you to know, what I want you to hear, what I want you to read, to receive. And so this man is talking about, something that happened, blah, 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 and that there was an accusation. And I was like, that this man, my husband, the man I'm interested in, because he doesn't call him husband. He says, the man you're interested in, accused you of a lie. And that's, I knew. If I have to go back, Stephanie P. Smith said in her title, God has found you innocent. And then she said the name it in quotation marks, or not quotation marks, parentheses, Benjamin. Now, she didn't understand why the connection. I did, because it was for me. He doesn't always lead me to comment on the prophet's page unless that prophet has asked for a confirmation from God that the word that is being received by the right people. Okay? I don't always comment. Not anymore. I used to comment all the time. And then God is like, no, I want you to wait until I tell you to, because I want it to be meaningful. I want it to be according to what I'm being asked. I say, okay, got it. And so he accused me of something that I was found innocent by God. This man today said that I was accused of something, that he lied. And I was like, okay, Father, what is, I'm listening. What is it you want me to understand? And I wasn't really paying attention to what he was saying about, feelings and connection, and you might have to walk, you felt like you had to walk away, and you had to close the door, blah, 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 blah. Like, none of that. I'm like, okay, this is what you've been telling me what I had to do. I've done it. But then he said this: you need to cry. You need to let out the feelings. You need to let go of the hurt of being lied on. And I stopped. I turned off my phone. And I sat here with God. And I'm like, Father, I understand that this was all a means to an end. And he goes, no, but there is a part of you in your heart that is hurt because you trusted him, because you thought that what he was showing you, what I was showing you through him, that he was going to stand up for you, that he was going to defend you, that he was going to protect you. But I needed it to play out this way, because at the end of the day, it's about saving souls. And then he brought this young lady, and I really do need to get her name so that I can share with you guys. But she's been giving words periodically, and certain things that she has said, I was like, and so when God brought me here, the midnight hour, I was up at midnight, going to Ruth, and it came to pass at midnight. Ruth had to do something. Ruth had to make the first move in order for Boaz to recognize, one, she was interested in him and only him. Two, that it wasn't just a fleshy thing. And three, he's been asking God. He's been asking God. So, if I'm not obedient tonight about what God is putting in my heart, and I say tonight because it's tonight. I have confirmation that it's tonight. If I am not obedient about what God is putting in my heart, if I had not allowed the pain for God to remove it, for God to heal that, I would not be in a position to step into what he has for me, which is including my marriage, which is including my union, which is including the blessings. All of it is going to start at some point. But I have to be obedient in what I'm going to do in order for that to happen. 12th hour miracles. I had no idea. Okay, so, and the confirmation he gave me today, was James chapter 1, verse 12. And it says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. Now, it sounds like I'm being told that I have to resist this temptation, right? But The temptation is not to follow God's leading. The temptation is to stay in my feelings. The temptation is to, no, this isn't of God. No, no, no. This is Lucifer. I'm going to rebuke it. I'm going to stand. God said I don't have to move. God said stay still. But let's go back to Ruth, shall we? And Ruth, chapter 3, verse 8. And it came to pass at midnight. Now, let's fast forward. Okay? She's already been there. She did what she had to do. She laid herself at his feet. She goes back to her mother-in-law. And she tells him what she did. I laid at his feet and I got up before a man and a woman can know each other. So that no one would know that she came into to the presence of a man. And then he told her to put her veil on. Now, when she went to her mother-in-law, she told her everything he did. Now, he sent her home with barley. Like, he sent her home with a gift. Okay? But the instruction that was given by her mother-in-law, she said, sorry, God just confirmed something to me. Okay, so in verse 18, Naomi tells Ruth, sit still. For know that the matter will be settled. For know that this man will not rest until the matter is settled. And it is finished this day. Now, something that this young lady mentioned was, your story isn't like anyone else's. Do not expect that you are going to have to do the things that everyone else does.